Hey guys, we're gonna go over some questions on your chapter 3 homework. I know for some reason it's not my choice, but for some reason, chapter 3 quiz is the most difficult quiz in the book. I mean, by far more than any other chapter in the book. So if you are struggling, and many of you guys are struggling for chapter 3 quiz, that's perfectly normal. Because typically what I see from all my past experiences, the average for chapter 3 quiz is about like a 40 and 50s. So don't worry, if you're getting 40 and 50s, you're doing the class average. So don't worry. Okay, so, but for this, I'm gonna go over some questions in here, and then this will help you on the quiz. Okay. And then by the way, these are the quiz questions. So if you watch this, you'll get some answers on the quiz. All right. So let's start it. So first question. So Brazil has a production possibly frontier, so the one over here, and then on the vertical axis are cashews, and the horizontal axis is peanuts. And then question asks, if the production possibly frontier shown is for 2 months, so this is for 2 months over here, then which of the following combination of peanuts and cashews could Brazil not produce in 2 months? All right, so now if you look at this PPF over here, we have two and number, and that's the only number we're going to look at. So for this two and number, you can find what is the opportunity cost of each good for Brazil. Now remember, we did the 4 prices in the class, but for this one, since only one country, Brazil, we only have 2 prices. So we're going to do the price of cashew, and then the price of peanuts. All right, so the price of cashew, looking for the price of cashew, then we'll put the maximum number of cashew on the bottom. So Brazil can produce a maximum of 240 cashew, and then the maximum of the other good on top, that's a 8. Oh, no, that's not W. It should be a P, 8 peanuts. So this will be 1 over 30 peanuts. And then for peanuts on the bottom, AP, 240 cashew on top. So this will be 30 cashew. All right. Now, the reason why we need to know this opportunity cost, because once you know the opportunity cost, you can find out that out of these 4 combinations here, which one will be just too much for the country to produce. Okay. Now, again, what we learned in class, we learned that if you can find where the point is on the graph, you can see if the point, if it's on the line, it's efficient, inside is inefficient, but they're both possible. But if it's outside, it's impossible. Now for this one, looking for something that's not produced, so something impossible. Now if you try to find the points on the line, it's very hard to find it because it's not very exact. So you got to do the math over here. Okay, so let's do the math now. So for the first combination, I'm gonna do 5 peanuts and then 88 cashews over here. Now the key is this 5 peanuts. Now at maximum, the country can produce 8 peanuts. Now if you only produce 5 peanuts, that means they have a capacity for 3 more peanuts. Now we said for every peanuts, it's equivalent to 30 cashew. So which means if the country doesn't produce the 3 peanuts and they only produce the 5, now for these 3 peanuts, they can exchange this for 90 cashew, right? So 3 times 30, that will give you 90. So for which means that for this country, if they only produce 5 peanuts, they can have 90 cashew. Now for combination A, we're going to asking for 88 cashew. So which means that is possible. We can produce 88 because our capacity at this point is going to be 90 cashew. Now for the second one, if you produce 4 peanuts, so again, we can produce maximum 8 peanuts. So if you only do 4, then we'll have a capacity for 4 more peanuts. And then for every peanuts, they're equivalent to 30 cashew. So that should give you 120 cashews capacity. But for this one, for combination B, we only requires 115. Now, that's possible because we can do 120. So 115 is very possible. And then for 3, for the next one, if you do 3 peanuts, so we do 8 peanuts, that's our capacity, minus 3 peanuts, that will give you 5 peanuts. Now for 5 peanuts times 30, so we have a capacity of 150 cashew. But however, for this C over here, it's asking for 155 cashew. We just don't have 155 cashew, right? So the answer should be C. Okay, so C is our answer because we cannot produce 155 because the question asking for which ones cannot. And then for the last one, if you want to look at the last one, how that works, let me erase this, a little more room. So for the last one, if we produce only 1 peanuts, how many cashew can we produce? So we do 8 minus 1, they'll give you 7 peanuts. Everyone 30 cashews. So we can do 210 cashew. This is only asking for 200. So that's possible. Okay, so the only right answer is going to be C over here. Yeah. Why does it do that? So the only right answer we have is going to be combination C, where it says 3 peanuts and 155 cashews. All right, so that's the first one. Second one, so same question, same graph. So suppose if the production possibility frontier shows for 2 months of production, then which of following combinations of peanuts and cashews could Brazil produce in 2 months? Now, the same question, but it's asking differently. Before is which one we cannot produce. This is asking for which one we can produce. So which is either inside the line or on the line. Now again, we need to know what is the opportunity cost. So find the price of cashew, and then the price of peanuts. And then we have was a 1 over 30 peanuts, and this is 30 cashew. All right. And then we're going to do the whole capacity again. So we're going to use this number over here. So 8 peanuts. So maximum country can produce 8 peanuts. So for the first combination, if you do 7 peanuts, that means we can do maximum 8 minus your 7 current peanuts. That means you have a capacity for 1 more peanuts, which is equivalent to 30 cashew. So you can do another 30 cashew at maximum. But for the first one, it's asking for 35. We cannot do 35. 30 is our maximum. So A is not possible. And then for B, so 8 peanuts minus 5 peanuts, that's another 3 peanuts. And then 30. And then for every peanuts, you can exchange for 30 cashew. So that should be a total 90 cashew. But for B, it's asking for 100 cashew. That's too much. We cannot do that. Okay. And then for next one, we're going to do 8 peanuts minus 2 peanuts. That should give you 6 peanuts. That's a P. Times 30. That's going to be 180 cashew. So we can do a maximum 180 cashew, but it's asking for 190. So again, that's too much. Now, last one, if you do 3 peanuts, then you have room for 5 more. And then every one is equivalent to 30. So they should give you 150 cashew, which is perfect because it's asking for. This is asking for 150. So answer should be D over here. Okay. So similar concept, but this is just asking for what is possible. All right. Next question. We have so Zimbabwe and Portugal. Let me move the question a little higher. Can't see this. A little more. Okay, so the question says, assume Zimbabwe and Portugal can switch between producing toothbrush or producing hairbrush at a constant rate. So for the constant rate, so for Zimbabwe, to make 1 toothbrush, it would take them 3 minutes to make one. To make 1 hairbrush, it would take them 10 minutes. And then for Portugal, it's 5 minutes for each toothbrush and 6 minutes for each hairbrush. Now, make sure you guys notice this thing over here. The keyword says minutes, right? That's how many that's how long it would take you. This table doesn't show you how much you can produce. It shows you how long it would take you to produce each good. So make sure you read the question carefully. Now, so the first question asking, assume Zimbabwe and Portugal each has 180 minutes. So that's our maximum number of minutes possible. If each country divides time equally between the production of toothbrush and hairbrush, then total production is how much? All right, so let's do Zimbabwe first. So for Zimbabwe, they have a total of 180 minutes. Now, if you do a half and half, then they're going to spend 90 minutes for the production of toothbrush, and then 90 minutes in the production of hairbrush. So if Zimbabwe spent 90 minutes producing toothbrush, and then every toothbrush will take 3 minutes, so that will be 90 divided by 3. That will give you what is 30 toothbrush for the country. And then for every hairbrush, it will cost them 10 minutes, so 90 divided by 10 minutes each. Then they're going to have 9 hairbrush. Now for Portugal, again, they're going to divide the time equally, half and half. So 90 for toothbrush, 90 for hairbrush. So for Portugal, for every toothbrush requires them 5 minutes. So 90 divided by 5, that's going to be 18 toothbrush. And then for hairbrush, they're gonna be doing 90 divided by 6, which is 6 minutes each for each hairbrush. That should give you a total of 15 hairbrush. All right, so it's asking for the total production between two countries. So we're gonna combine them together. So 18 plus 30, that should give you a 48 toothbrush. And then 9 plus 15, that should give you 24 hairbrush. So the answer should be C over here. Okay. All right. So that's the first one. And then second one, let me move this a little higher. A little more. Oh, just too much. All right. So which of following toothbrush and hairbrush could Portugal produce in 30 minutes? All right. Now this one we're gonna try something else. So for this one, it's asking for these combinations, which one you can produce given your available minutes. Now you can draw the PPF and then find the opportunity cost and then so the four prices and then go from there. Now that might take a little longer than what you might want to do. So let me show you an easier way. So another way to approach this problem is that since you only have 30 minutes for Portugal, and then what do we say? We say for every one toothbrush, ah, just do that for. So for every one toothbrush, it's 5 minutes. For every one hairbrush, it's 6 minutes. So toothbrush is 5 minutes. Hairbrush is 6 minutes. All right, we're gonna see which one of this we're gonna see which one of these combinations would take a production time that's more than well. It was asked, the question asking for which one they could produce. So which one of this would take less than 30 minutes? Because if it's more than 30 minutes, this is asking for too much. We don't have more than 30 minutes. So for the first one, one toothbrush. So one times 5 minutes each plus 4 hairbrush, 6 minutes each. And this will give you, what is this? So 4 times 6 is 24, plus 5, that should be 29 minutes. So this is actually very possible. Now let's look at the next one. So next one is going to be 4 toothbrush, 5 minutes each, plus 2 hairbrush, 6 minutes each. And this will be 32 minutes. That's too much. Okay. And the next one, 5 toothbrush, 5 minutes each, plus 6 hairbrush, 6 minutes each. Oh, that's gonna be a lot. So what? 25 plus 36, 61 minutes. That's way all there. Okay, and then next 6 times 5 plus 5 times 6. That's going to be 16. That's also way out there. So the only one that's actually under 30 minutes, which is possible for us, is going to be the first. Oh man, I need a new computer. Anybody want an A for the class? Buy me a new computer, okay? Just kidding, just kidding. All right, there. So that's the answer for us. All right. All right, next. So which of following combinations of toothbrush and hairbrush could Zimbabwe not produce in 2020? Very similar concept, but it's asking for which one is not possible. So we're looking for which one is more than 120 minutes. If that's more than 120, that's not possible. Now for Zimbabwe, what's the number for Zimbabwe? So 3 minutes for toothbrush, 10 minutes for hairbrush. All right, so let me write it over here. So 3 minutes for toothbrush, 10 minutes for hairbrush. All right, and then for the first combination, we're gonna do 5 toothbrush, 3 minutes each, plus 10 hairbrush, 11 hairbrush, 10 minutes each. Right, so that will be 125, which is not possible. That is more than 120. So that might be a good answer. And then next I'm gonna do 10 toothbrush, 3 minutes each, plus 9 hairbrush, 10 minutes each. So this would be 120. So that is actually very possible. So that's not an answer looking for. And then next 20 toothbrush, 3 minutes each, plus 6 hairbrush, 10 minutes each. That's also 120. Again, that's possible. So we're not looking for that. And the next one's 30. Let me write this. So 30 toothbrush, 3 minutes each, plus 3 hairbrush, 10 minutes each, that's also 120. So that is also possible. So the only right answer we have is going to be A. Okay, that's the only one that require more than 120 minutes. All right, next, let's look at this question here. So assume England and Spain can switch between producing cheese and producing bread at a constant rate. So we have two countries. Now, notice we have two tables over here. So the first table, it show you what is the labor hour needed to produce one unit, and then second table it shows you, what is the number of production that we can get from within 40 hours. So to do this question here, it's good idea to only use the table on the right. And I guess this is a good thing to remember. If you ever see questions like this on your test, that you have a table on the left, a table on the right, and more than likely you'll be only using the table on the right. Okay, and especially in this case. So this case, we're asking for England should export what? Now, to see what England should export, we're looking for England's comparative advantage. So for comparative advantage, we are doing the four prices. So remember the price of each good for each country, right? So we're going to do the price of cheese for England, the price of bread for England, the price of cheese for Spain, the price of bread for Spain. All right, and then for these numbers, the only number we're going to use are the numbers over here. Okay, so first let's do England first. So England, looking for the price of cheese in England, and then remember for the four prices, whatever price you're looking for, the maximum number goes on the bottom of the fraction. So for England, they can produce a maximum of 40 cheese. So 40 cheese goes on the bottom, and then what goes on top is the maximum of the other good, which is 10 bread, and then simplify this is 1/4 bread. And then for bread in England, same concept. So 10 on the bottoms now, 40 cheese on top. That's so ugly. So 40 cheese on top, simplify this will be 4 cheese. Now for Spain, cheese is 10, bread is 5. This will be 1/2 bread. And then for bread over here, that will be 10/5. That should give you 2 cheese. All right, so remember, once you have the four prices, whoever have a lower opportunity cost, that's the comparative advantage. So if you compare the price of cheese, for cheese over here, see how England is only 1/4 bread, but Spain is 1/2 bread. So this is lower for England. So that's lower. So we say England, this is the comparative advantage for England. Now let's look at the bread first. Next, so for bread, in England costs you 4 cheese. In Spain costs you 2 cheese. So this is lower. So we say Spain that this is their comparative advantage. So once you know which good the country has a comparative advantage, and then that country should specialize and then export that good. So since England has a comparative advantage in cheese, then they will be exporting cheese only. And then since Spain is good in bread, then they will be exporting bread. But on the side of England, they will be importing. So Spain exporting bread. In this transaction, England will be importing the bread. Okay, so we're going to say England will export cheese. That's a comparative advantage, and then import bread. So A is our answer. Okay, answer is A. All right, and then next. So we have farmers and ranchers can switch between producing meat and producing potatoes at a constant rate. Now, again, we have two tables over here. The first one is labor hour needed to produce 1 pound. Again, more than likely, you're not going to use this. If you guys see a table like this on your test, more than likely, the only thing you'll be using is the one on the right. So this is the one I'm going to use. Okay. All right. So let's look at the first question. All right, so first question says, assume the farmer and ranchers each has 24 hours available. If each person divides time equally between the production of meat and potatoes, then the total production is how much? All right, I know I said I wish we just use the table on the right, but that's a slap in the face. But for the first question, we're going to use the one on the left because it's asking for 24 hours available. So when you see every time they mention what time does it need to produce certain good or service, then you'll be going back to this labor hour table. Not, but if it's asking for what is the comparative advantage, then you'll be going to the second table over here. Okay, but for the first one, for the first question, we're gonna do the table on the left. I should have read the question first. What a so embarrassing slap in the face. All right. So if each person has 24 hours, and then they're gonna divide the time equally half and half, then what's our total production? So 24 hours. Let's say we'll do farmer first. So farmer will have 24 hours. And then 24 hours will be divided half and half. So 12 hours to produce meat, and then 12 hours to produce potato. Now, for farmers, for every meat, it requires 4 hours. So he has 12 hours to produce meat. Divided by 4, he will have 3 pounds of meat. And then for potato, so 12 divided by what's it, 6, so 6 over here. 12 divided by 6, he can produce 2 potatoes. So 3 pounds of meat and then 2 pounds of potato. Now for rancher, rancher is also doing half and half. So for rancher here, if you do for rancher's meat, so 12 divided by 8 hours each. So 12 over 8, that should be, what is it? It's 1.5. Oh man, guys, I'm so sorry. What did I do here? I just said it. We should use the table on the left. I'm still using the table on the right. Oh my god. You know what? It's a long night. For this, I blame my baby. The guy is keeping me up all night long. I don't know why we have kids. Guys, if you don't have kids right now, think carefully before you have kids. And if you guys already have kids, I'm so sorry. Too late. Can't change it now. I'm not getting any sleep any night. I mean, at most, I'm sleep about maybe 3 hours continuously. All right, so let's redo number 1. Again, I'm going to use the table on the left, on the left, on the left. All right. So I'm going to do farmer. I'm going to spend 12 hours produce meat. So we're going to so farmer meat, gonna do 12 hours spent on meat. There are 6 hours each, so you're gonna have 2 pounds of meat from the farmer. And then for farmers for potato, again 12 hours. There are 4 pounds of meat, 4 pounds each. That should give you 3 potatoes. And then for rancher meat, that's gonna be 12 hours divided by 3, so that's 4 pounds of meat. And then for ranchers for potato, that's going to be 12 divided by 8, so that should give you 1.5 potato. All right, once you add them up, we're going to have 6 pounds of meat and 4.5 pounds of potato. Okay, so which means the answer is going to be the first one, A, over here. All right, so guys, make sure to use the table on the left. All right, and then next, which are following combinations of meat and potatoes could farmers produce in 24 hours? Now, again, this is 24 hours. So again, slapping my face, we're going to use the table on the left because it's mentioned hours. So which one they can, the farmers can produce in 24 hours. Now we're going to see which of the following combinations here that falls less than 24 hours. Because if more than 24 hours is too much, less than 24 is good. Okay, so we're doing farmers here. So for farmer, let's do the first one. So first one, 1 pound of meat, 6 hours each, plus 8 pounds of meat, 8 pound potato, 4 hours each. That will actually requires a lot. That will be what? So 8 times 4, that's 32. 38 hours. That's just too much. We're looking for less than 24. And then next, 2 pounds of meat, 6 hours each, plus 2 pounds of potato, 4 hours each. So 2 times 6 is going to be 12. 12 plus 2 times 4 is 8. So that will be a 20. So this sounds very good. Next one, 1 pound of meat, 6 hours each, plus 5 pounds of potato, 4 hours each. So this would be 20 plus 6, so 26 hours. That's just too much. And the next one is 3 pounds of meat, 6 hours each, plus 2 pounds of potato, 4 hours each. So 3 times 6, 18. 18 plus 8 would be 26 again. Again, that's too much. So the only right answer we have is going to be B over here. Okay. All right. And then for 3, which one following combination of meat and potatoes could the rancher not produce in 24 hours? So again, one more time, a slap in my face. We're going to use the table on the left over here because I'm mentioning about the 24 hours. But guys, again, if you see any question about, import, export, or comparative advantage or absolute advantage, you more than likely use the table on the right over here. But if you see that 24 hours or the amount of time, then you'll be using the table on the left. All right, so we're looking for which one the ranchers cannot produce. Um, so that will be anything that's more than 24 hours. That's the answer we're looking for. Okay. So first, well, let me get the information first. So rancher is 3 and 8. So for rancher, let me erase this. We don't need this anymore. They're hard to erase. This is hard to erase. Should just start a new page. It's much easier. But you know what this feels like? You know how when you guys watch Family Guy, and sometimes they'll have like this 30 seconds they will try to annoy you. This is what is this? This is what that is. What I'm trying to do. Okay, so this is my 30 seconds try to annoy you. All right. So what is this? 3. God, I forgot numbers again. So 3 and 8. So for every pound of meat, it requires 3 hours. For every this is meat. So meat requires 3 hours, and then potato requires how many? 8. So potato is 8 hours. All right. So let's say which one is more than 24 hours. The first one we have is 5 pounds of meat, 3 hours each, plus 1 pound of potato, 8 hours each. That will be 15 plus 8. That will be a 23. So that's less than the 24. So that's not good. Next, 2 pounds of meat, 3 hours each, plus 2 pounds of potato, 8 hours each. So 16 plus 6, that's a 22. That's not good either. 1 pound of meat, 3 hours each, plus 3 pounds of potato, 8 hours each. Oh, that is good. That's going to be a 25. So that looks like the answer for us. Last one, 4 pounds of meat, 3 hours each, plus 1 pound of potato, 8 hours each. So 12 plus 8, that's a 20. So that's also not bad. That's also bad. So the right answer is going to be C over here. All right, so guys, that's all the questions I have for you. Hopefully this will help you on your quiz. And again, if you're struggling, don't worry. It's just normal. The class average is 40 and 50s. All right, guys, good luck, and I will see you for chapter 4. Bye-bye.